What's popping, y'all? I finally got around to it, listening to Lil Baby's album. People have been asking me for a while, which I don't know why I'm getting asked so much about that album. With that being said, not going to hold you guys too much for the people that just want to know my opinion. I like this album. I thoroughly enjoyed this album, more so than the last album, and I didn't hate the last album. It was just mid. It was like, eh. Like, for example, like Real Spill is probably my favorite song off that entire album. I know there are some other tracks that people mess with, but that one for me, I really mess with it heavy. And he came with the same energy in terms of having a great intro on this album. The thing is, it's not that I'm giving Lil Baby grace. I've always been, and you have to take this into context when judging my opinion on this, is that I have always been a Lil Baby is overrated type of individual. From 2018, I've always thought Gunna made better music than Lil Baby. Granted, I thought Gunna was trash before the Drip or the one with the snake album cover. It was green. Whatever mixtape that was, I thought that was terrible by Gunna. But after that is when I started to really enjoy Gunna and Turbo. And Drip Too Hard, of course, I enjoyed the collaborative tracks with Lil Baby and Gunna. But priority-wise, I would always say I enjoyed Gunna's music more post 2019 onward. I would say I enjoyed Gunna's music more, and I felt like people were overrating Lil Baby, ranking him way too high above what a rapper should be ranked, especially being compared to Lil Wayne, and the quality of the music that he was dropping. Like Street Gossip, Drip Harder, yeah, that was the album, 2018. I messed with that one heavy. Street Gossip, I didn't really like it like that. Obviously, like Pure Cocaine, that song slaps. And there's maybe 2 other songs on there that I really mess with, but the other stuff, it was just whatever to me. My Turn, I liked. Of course, the most popular song off of there, Emotionally Scarred. That's what drew me into the album, because in the beginning, I didn't enjoy. After Street Gossip, I was like, I don't know if I want to listen to this guy. I heard Emotionally Scarred, really enjoyed it, got me to check out My Turn. Voice of the Heroes, I wasn't too excited about that. I'm not the biggest Lil Durk guy. I've just heard enough Lil Durk music. That's just what it is for me. Now, there are singles that I listen to by Lil Durk frequently. Or not singles, but album cuts. Listening through to a Lil Durk album, and I'm mainly an album listener. Sometimes if I'm sitting for a session, even for an hour or two, I'll just listen to one album over and over again. That's just how I grew up listening to music. That's one of the reasons I don't really have a playlist or listen to playlists, because I'm just not used to it. It's not that I think there's anything wrong with it, although people could make some arguments for or against it. So this album, objectively better than It's Only Me. If we're talking about skips, right, because what songs did I not like? I would say the only songs that I didn't like was Say Twin, which I've clowned before. And I just don't like that song. I could see how some people might mess with it, but to me, that song is trash. Also, Free Promo, I just don't like Baby on that beat. The song picks up after the first 30 to 45 seconds. I think is good rapping on here. I just think it would sound better. Another beat would have better suited Lil Baby on here. I think it was a bit of a mismatch. So I would probably skip that song just because I don't think the beat works well with Baby. But I don't think he rapped poorly on there. The 13th track, Outfit, with 21 Savage. I'm actually not a fan of this song either. 21's verse is good. It's okay. Like, it's not a mind-blowing verse, but he did his thing on here. But this isn't a song that I would come back to. And the last track, which is Streets Colder, this is the standard Lil Baby song where, for me, I'm just like, okay, this is the overrated type song. It's not a bad song. It's not a great song to me, but I know some people love tracks like this. Now, when we get to the intro, listen up. I love the intro. It's kind of champagne poetry-esque, not in terms of the sound whatsoever, but it gives you an intro feel. It's like you're being led through this, not labyrinth, but you're being led through this gala into like this big chateau of a presentation that Lil Baby is going to put on for the rest of the album, and he delivers on this. Dumb and Dumber, obviously, it's a banger. Like, what else needs to be said? Everyone agrees on that. F You Two Times, I messed with that song. I Promise, I like that we made hair on money off weed. It's just a simple bar, but just the delivery on that. I also like how he touches on personal relationships with chicks and tricking, but there's also conflict in it, which is great. And we know Lil Baby to be a trick. I think he got exposed multiple times, dropping 15 bands on chicks where some of you wouldn't even look twice at, let alone pay 15 grand. He was definitely getting, you know how sometimes people go to other countries and they call it foreigner pricing? He's definitely getting rapper pricing for the box, which is crazy because probably sold it to someone else for like 1.5K, but that's neither here nor there. Redbone with Glorilla, I enjoyed this song. The music here is good, but I'm not too much of a fan of the crude verse by Glorilla. Like her just talking about, oh, I'm juggling multiple guys like this. She's just mirroring a male rapping about having multiple chicks, and this just always, it just rubs me the wrong way. It gives me the ick. I think that's the best way for chicks to understand it, because they're like, oh, well, guys rap about that stuff. Okay. There are things that guys do that give you the ick, but if girls do it, you don't mind it. That's the same thing here with Glorilla's verse. It's not a bad verse musically. This song's it's pretty good. By Myself sounded like a Rod Wave song that was given to Lil Baby, and he just added his verse on it. I do like how Baby matched Rod Wave's energy, and it feels like he was on a feature on here with Rilo, and I really mess with the Alabama Travis Barker bar by Rilo. Alabama is Travis Barker's daughter. It's fire. And Rilo, I believe, is from Alabama. Isn't he from Mobile? I'm pretty sure he's from Mobile, Alabama. So that even adds to that bar. And Rilo is just known for dropping bars. I mean, bars that go over people's head, Instagram captions. That's why when people say, yo, hip-hop is dead, people aren't really rapping like that. I think Rilo, and I don't know about no cap, but Rilo Rodriguez for sure is one of those guys that's dropping bars, making street-type music, and making good music at the same time. And I say this as somebody who hasn't really listened to that much Rilo Rodriguez music, which, thinking about it now, I need to listen to an album by him. I just hear him on other songs, and I enjoy it every time, and I have nothing bad to say, but I haven't made the leap to check him out. So I'm going to do that in the near future. No, I will not be making a video about that. Maybe I'll mention him in passing, but I just don't want that pressure on me. And there's just so much else to cover. So we had that song. Rod Wave, of course, you guys know I love Rod Wave. Due for a Win, I like that one. I felt that song. I'm really due for a win. I'm hustling like crazy. Come on, you guys are seeing more uploads from me than you've seen in how long? So subscribe if you want to keep seeing that. Stiff Gang I enjoyed. So Sorry I enjoyed. Stuff with Travis Scott. Great song. They went well together on this. And I think that covers the entire track list. No, Drugs Talkin'. I didn't mention that one. This one's decent. It's a different type of beat. And I think Baby said everything that needed to be said for this album. Number one, let's just talk about commercially, right? This did 100, or this is supposed to do 130, 135K. Who knows? Maybe it jumps up to 150, which would be crazy high. But this album, if he's doing above 100K, that's great, because Gunna did 90-something K, and I do think they may have pulled some shenanigans behind the scenes to make sure he did more than Gunna, because he's getting more industry support as opposed to Gunna, who's just doing it off the strength. Now, do I like this album more than I like Gunna's recent album? That is the question. And to be honest, I have to be completely honest here. I think I like this album more than Gunna's recent album. It's a very close one. Like one of one, I messed with. But this, I would have to say it's at least equal. And this was going to be my judgment. I don't know if I'd edge Lil Baby over, pause. But I will say it's at least equal. I would need to get more listens because I've had nearly a year to digest one of one. Whereas this album just dropped. I just listened to it twice before coming on here and giving my opinion because you guys have been hounding me for this. So I will say it's time. And that was the criticism or the expectation that I had of Lil Baby where, yo, if you don't drop an album anywhere close to as good as Gunna's, that is not a good look. And the promo for this was great too. You had Young Thug shouting him out, Wham, which is the album cover, which is also like Lil Baby's nickname, I guess. And then he has a Weed Strain, which they did very, very clever promotion for this on social media, where they said, oh, he generated $30 million with Wham, which is more than NBA players. And this drives up great engagement because they're talking about a strain of weed, which is the same name as the album, but it's purposely vague because we're going to associate Wham with the album, not the weed. So then if people get corrected and they're like, yo, oh, this is a strain of weed, then it's promoting that he has a strain of weed. So it's this synergistic promotion. So whoever came up with that for this rollout, in particular that post, hats off to you. Brilliant marketing. You guys got to keep QC, whoever you're working with that did that, excellent job. So people are like, yo, this album didn't generate 30 million. Of course it didn't. And that's how I found out about it. A friend of mine shot me a text. He's like, yo, these guys are capping. This album didn't generate 30 million. And then I look at it and then I was like, wait, no, it's a strain, because I read the replies. So that was good. The rollout was good. The lead up was good. Lil Baby did the right amount of interviews and press for it. I think he addressed a lot of the criticisms. Like, for example, when I listen to this project, it doesn't sound the same to me. And Lil Baby usually sounds the same. Like, we got a diversity of beats. We got Baby doing some melodies. We got Baby singing. We've got him exploring new ideas. So he's hearing the criticism, and this album just delivers on every single front. And when he said he's going to drop 4 albums this year, I don't want that to happen. Baby, please drop maybe one more project this year, because this album is great. It deserves to kind of sit and for people to listen to it for at least a couple of months before you drop anything with anybody else, especially if it's Thug or Future. And people will enjoy that, but I just think it'll take attention from this album. I'm happy that Lil Baby stepped up to the plate, because Lil Baby's one of those people that he had such a crazy run for a couple of years that he could have just kept performing his hits and not really cared too much, which we've seen other rappers do, or let the pressure and the frustration get to him. I'm glad they patched things up with Academics too. I'm interested to see what he has to say about this. I'm recording this before he even talks about the album, so if he said something about it after I talk about this, then it is what it is. Or before I upload this, it is what it is. Besides, I always formulate my own opinion, but I think him allowing this to sit for several months, it'll grow to be appreciated more and more, especially if we get a single bang off of this. Like, for example, if Dumb and Dumber does really well on the charts, whatever they decide to push the radio play and playlisting and do a music video for, especially if it's Young Thug's first music video, which is likely what's going to happen. They can't record it in Atlanta, though, because he's banned from Atlanta, except for, I think he has to go there a couple of times a year to talk to some kids or something like that. So hats off to Lil Baby. I'm clapping it up for him. I'm excited to see what else he's got in the tuck. But I definitely want to listen to this album many more times, and I will revisit it. Not the songs that I didn't really enjoy, but for him to have, 2 to 3 misses off of 15 tracks, for me personally, and these are songs that people enjoy. Like, I think people really enjoyed the Redbone song with Glorilla, and it's not that I didn't enjoy that song. I wouldn't say that was a miss for me. It was just a not for me type of track. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Now that I'm reviewing it, I don't really see negative comments about it. I don't see how you could call this mid, especially for Lil Baby. It's a good album. Great job. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.